everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Thursday night and it's a mystery challenge night. So every other Thursday night I come on and do a mystery challenge, and I posted the clue about 9:30 this morning Pacific. So you can go out always on a Thursday that I'm doing the mystery challenge onto Instagram or my Facebook group or page and find the clue that I'll be using. So tonight is a tic-tac-toe challenge. This is my favorite. I love tic-tac-toe challenge. There's so many ways that you can make a project using this. If you're, I don't know, if you're at all having an issue with your mojo and not being inspired in any way, just go out and find a tic-tac-toe challenge and see what you can make. Hey, Joanne, welcome. So tonight I pulled one out. I adjusted it a little bit, and I am going to use the new Country Boutique or Country Lane Floral. I used this on Tuesday night and made a really pretty card in, let's see, Sweet Sorbet and Petal Pink. I'm going to switch it up tonight because, hey, Betty, my tic-tac-toe, I've decided to use the bottom line. So I'll show you it in just a minute. So the colors I'm going to use, or the line that I'm going to use, is purple, heat embossing, and hearts. Partly I want to show you that when you see a suite like the Country Floral Lane, which is part, the bundle is Country Bouquet. Hey, Polly. You might think Valentine's Day, and I just kind of want to show you that this bundle, this suite, doesn't have to be for Valentine's Day. So I'm switching it up a little bit. It's going to be in purple. Going to do some heat resist or embossed resist, and add some hearts. So we'll see how this goes. That's my idea. Hey, Kay, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to switch over and I'll show you the tic-tac-toe. Again, hey, Catherine, no, you're going to have a hard time. I'm going to try and bring this up a little bit. There we go. I think you can see that. Okay, so lots of options. What you do in a tic-tac-toe challenge is choose one line in any direction. It could be horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. So if you're still into holiday cards, this one might be perfect. Circle, red, and sparkle. Stripes, masculine, birthday. The one I'm using is this bottom one. Purple, heat embossing, hearts. And then circle, stripes, purple, red, masculine, heat embossing, sparkle, birthday, hearts. Lots of options. And then, of course, the diagonal ones. So I'm excited to see what you guys make using this tic-tac-toe challenge. I know some of you probably printed it out and are ready to go. And so we'll see what my card. Again, I'm using this bottom line. Okay, first of all, I have a piece of Gorgeous Grape cardstock. And this is 4 1/4 by 11. So we're going to score it at 5 1/2. And fold on the score line and into the mountain, or into that raised line. Now, I didn't show you the Country Bouquet. So it's a punch bundle. I love punch bundles. I was always disappointed when Stampin' Up! Got rid of punches, or got rid of a number of their punches. So they're bringing some back. So this punch will cut out these hearts and these leaves. The images are at 90%, so the punch definitely looks bigger. You can see, there we go. That's a little easier to see. There we go. So it cuts the big heart, the little heart, and then the 2 leaves. A detailed heart, really pretty. An open heart, 2 little tiny hearts, and some really pretty sentiments that don't just have to be for Valentine's Day. Even though there is a Valentine's Day sentiment on it, this one that says "just wanted to say," and then you could write a note on the inside. So lots of ways to use this. Okay, so we've got our card base in Gorgeous Grape. I've got a piece of fresh freesia. I love the combination of Gorgeous Grape and fresh freesia. So that's cut 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I've got a piece of basic white that I've also cut 4 inches by 5 1/4. I always cut them. The piece I'm going to do, the heat embossing, and I'm going to use a blending brush. I always cut it bigger so that I can trim it down, because sometimes I get some dark edges, and yeah, sometimes it's just not as nice around the edge as I want it. So I like to be able to trim it off. Now I'm going to use this stamp here. There's a couple of ways. I only want the big heart. So there's a couple of ways to do this. Yeah, non-Christmas guy. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Joy. Non-Christmas. A couple of ways to do this. They are attached, so you could be really brave and cut this if you wanted to. So you could cut your stamps apart, and I've been known to do that. You can do what I've done and put it on a small block and leave the part that you don't want to pick up ink. Just leave that off the edge, and I could probably get it even closer to the edge. And that way, I'm just going to make sure I stamp or ink up the large one. Or I grab some masking paper. You could use Post-it note or something, but the masking paper works well. And I could cover that up on a bigger block. And then when I ink it up with the masking paper on, and then when I stamp, pull it off. But I thought because I want to do the entire thing, the entire piece of paper, I didn't really want to use the masking paper. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to use Versamark. I'm going to do emboss resist. So what I'm going to do is cover this entire piece of cardstock. The other reason I cut it a little bit bigger is because sometimes you get fingerprints on the edge. Get a little higher there. Boy, there we go. And so that way I can trim off the fingerprints. When I ink this up, I'm going to be very careful not to get the little heart. So I'm just going to start, and you're not going to be able to see this until I get some more hearts. Actually, until I probably start sponging. Even I can't see. There we go. Kind of going on and off the paper, turning my heart around. Let's see. Where am I? Okay, I think that's good. Now I'm going to do some of these little hearts as well, just to fill in the gaps. I love these two little hearts. I'm having a hard time seeing myself here. Try not to overlap. There we go. Okay, I think I've got enough stamping. Now I'm going to cover my piece with clear embossing powder. Get my spoon out of there. All right, my fingers. I love the heat emboss or the emboss resist. It's just kind of magic when it starts. The images start to appear. There we go. Okay. I don't know if you can see. Probably not. Oh, a little bit there. All right. So let's use my heat tool. I'm going to grab this. Use the tweezers just to hang on to this. Might be a little loud for a minute as it starts, and you might start to see this appear as my the embossing powder starts to melt. It will go glossy and shiny once it starts. So hold it in one spot until you start to see it melt, and then you can start to move it around. There we go. Taking a little bit of time. I'm not sure. It's possible that the different embossing powders have different kind of melting points. Some seem to take a little bit longer than others. You can start to see the shininess. There we go. All right, I think I've got all the hearts melted. Okay, so you can kind of just see the shiny hearts that I've got on there. So I'm going to let that cool. Sometimes it takes a minute or two just to cool it down. Now, I have a dilemma, and maybe you guys can comment. So remember, my card base is Gorgeous Grape, and my first layer is Fresh Freesia. So what color of ink do I use? Fresh Freesia, Gorgeous Grape, and Highland Heather. Remembering this is going to cover everything but the hearts. Any thoughts? I originally thought I was going to use Fresh Freesia, but I'm leaning to Highland Heather. But I could also be convinced to use Gorgeous Grape. Anybody brave enough to give me some idea? Freesia. Oh, Catherine says Fresh Freesia. Okay, yeah, that would look pretty too. Gorgeous Grape. All right, we need somebody to break the tie. We've got a Fresh Freesia. We've got a Gorgeous Grape. Who's going to break the tie? Oh, and now we've got we've got a Highland Heather. Oh my goodness. Now we've got one of each. What shall I do? I'm worried that Gorgeous Grape is going to be too dark. So, but I'm thinking that's too light. So I'm going to do Highland Heather. I'm worried that, I don't know, I'm sure they'll all be pretty. So I've got a blending brush. You could use a sponge or a blending brush. Okay, so I'm just going to try. Now, I like to make sure I start off the paper. And then I tend to sponge in a circular motion. If you do get dark lines, particularly around the edges of the paper, that's okay, because I'm going to trim this. Really makes the hearts pop. Could have done them in gold or something. That would have been really pretty, and they would have popped. These hearts are kind of cool. They've got stripes on them. They almost look like they're distinctive, but I don't know that they are. But they've got some really cool lines that so pretty. I love purple. You know what I think I'm going to do? Let's see. Let's pull this in. Ooh, pretty. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and add some Fresh Freesia. See if I can see what that does. Let me get a different blending brush. There are new blending brushes coming in. I don't know where mine are. Oh, new blending brushes that are little, which is really cool. There we go. Just adding some pink or Fresh Freesia to this, just to add some different color. You can make this anything you want. And I might even go in and add a little bit of Gorgeous Grape. Really switches up the color. There we go. A little bit of pink to it. And now let's go in, just add a little bit of Gorgeous Grape. We'll use all the colors. I'm not going to go in all over the place. I'm just going to kind of go in spots and add some Gorgeous Grape. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to trim this because, as I said, I had cut this to 4 inches, I believe 4 inches by 5 1/4. What I want to do is I want to trim it to 3 3/4. So I'm going to actually trim this edge off that doesn't have any of the hearts on it. And then down here, I kind of didn't get that heart stamped very well. So it needs to be 3 3/4 by 5. So I am going to trim that bottom off. There So we're going to adhere this. Now I am going to use Stampin' Seal. They emboss, or the heat tool makes the cardstock curl a little bit, and the Stampin' Seal will actually help keep those edges flat. Get it straight on here, and then I'm just gonna press it down like that. A couple of reasons: one, I can press it flat, and two, sometimes where the embossing powder was and it's now melted will hold the ink on, and you get it all over your fingers. Okay, so I have a couple of different colors of ribbon. I've got some fresh freesia, and this is Orchid Oasis, but it looks really nice with purple. So I thought what I would do is combine the two together like that. So we'll cut that. And oops. And let's see if I can get this straight to start with. Let's add a little bit more of Stampin' Seal over top, and that'll give me something to attach my purple in the middle. There we go. And then we'll wrap this. Hopefully we're getting it straight. There we go. There we go. Okay, now we can take and add. And I know I've said this before, when I use wrap ribbon around, I like to use Stampin' Seal because I think it holds better, and you can go right over the ribbon. There we go. Okay, so now we need a sentiment. So I've got some basic white here. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp some hearts and punch them out. So let's get a bigger block. And we'll cut or stamp a couple of hearts. Yes. So what I was thinking about is where this is and how I want to put it. So if I'd stamped it up here, I was going to have to cut my paper. So I'm stamping it at the bottom like that, because it will, the paper will go in here and it will make it easier to cut out. There we go. So it punches out the two hearts. It also punches out the leaves if you were adding leaves. But let's just take and add a couple of hearts using dimensionals. And a mini dimensional or two. There we go. Take your pick tool. Oops. Dimensional came right off. Okay. It doesn't want to stick. Let's get a different one. There. All right, now let's stamp a sentiment. And I think I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape. And the sentiment I've got is Just Wanted to Say. And I'm going to just stamp this down in the corner and then fussy cut it out. Oops. Sticky on my finger. Ooh. All right, and then dimensionals. Now I was going to use pastel pearls on here because I thought the purple, but I've got an awful lot of purple going on. So I'm going to grab a different embellishment. Put that down there. And where are they? Here they are. These are the pastel adhesive sequins that are part of the Country Lane Floral Suite. So there's gold, pink, and then the blue. I think I'm going to put gold. I think it just needs a pop of something else like that. And then the last thing I want to do is I've got a piece of basic white, and I'm going to stamp using Gorgeous Grape, the sentiment that says, "I love that we are friends," for the inside. And then a couple of these open in dark in the Gorgeous Grape. And then a couple of, so there's the open heart, and then there is the little closed hearts that will go on the inside. There we go. Just my stamp and seal. It'll be a stamp and seal kind of night. I don't use stamp and seal all that often. There we go. All right. So let's bring this back in. So this was a mystery challenge again. So mine was purple, heat embossing, and hearts. So there's my card. A little bit different look for that stamp set. So it just kind of goes to show you can use the stamp set for all sorts of things. It doesn't have to be just for Valentine's Day. And you could, if you wanted to, make a birthday card. Just switch out the sentiment from another stamp set and make a birthday card for. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Now, I will be back on Saturday. I'm going to be a little earlier because I have a call at 11, which is my normal time. And then I'm going to the theater. Hopefully it doesn't snow and I'll get to the theater. So I probably will be on around 10 o'clock Pacific. So hopefully you can join me then. Sunday, I should be on at my regular time. Oh, no, I have a Christmas party. Gosh, it's a busy time of season. So I'll be on a little later. Probably about 1 or so in the afternoon on Sunday. So hopefully you can join me then. And then next week, Tuesday night, I will be a regular sketch challenge at 6:30 Pacific. And then I'm going to take a bit of a break over the Christmas season. So hopefully you can join me for some or all of those. And yeah, hope you have a great day. Happy stamping. Bye, everybody.